Good morning, guys. Today is Wednesday. It is currently about 9 o'clock, and I'm headed to Starbucks because it is 26 degrees outside and I'm freezing, and I just really want a nice warm latte drink of sorts. So today I have a lot of schoolwork and studying to do, and as you guys probably know from all of my other videos that I mentioned this, I am in my second semester of physical therapy school, and my program doesn't have class on Wednesdays, so it is just a day for me to kind of catch up on school and get ahead a little bit and study. Oh my gosh, you can literally see my breath right now in my car. I am freezing. So I'm going to turn the heat on and go to Starbucks and then just kind of take you guys along with me throughout my day of studying. I'm kind of showing you more in detail how I study, because I feel like in my vlogs I always just say, I'm going to go study now, and then I don't tell you guys exactly what I'm doing. So sharing that with you guys today. So let's go to Starbucks and I'll update you guys when I get home. So I'm back from Starbucks and I'm back home with Teddy, who is my toy cockapoo pup. Not really a pup, he's almost 2, but people ask what type of dog he is. He's a toy cockapoo. But anyways, I'm at my desk and I have my planner here, and I don't really have too much homework to do today, which is nice because usually I do have a lot of homework on Wednesdays, and I think I have all day to study, and then I end up only having a few hours, but I have to listen to one 20-minute long video, do a little assignment on it. I have to watch a quick pre-lab video for my cardiopulmonary class tomorrow, and then I have the whole rest of the day to study, so hopefully, it is currently 9:30, hopefully by lunchtime I can just study from lunch for the rest of the afternoon. So I think I'm just going to get started on that, and when I have an update to share with you guys, I am going to do so. I'm someone who likes to get my assignments out of the way first and then study after that. I know some people are the opposite, but I like to have nothing else to do when I have to study because I need to be in a very certain mindset. So I'm gonna do that now. I want to mention these before I forget to include them in this vlog, but I've been really into these Verb energy bars lately. I have the vanilla latte flavor and the ginger snap flavor, and basically they are really tiny. I don't eat them to fill me up, but I eat them because they have as much caffeine as an espresso and only 90 calories, and the caffeine is from green tea, so it doesn't make you crash or anything. And I am trying to consume less coffee, and these have really helped. So if you want to try them out. I have a link in my bio to get 16 bars for $12. So definitely recommend checking them out. Ginger snap and vanilla latte are by far my favorite 2 flavors. So I'm going to have one of these now and then get started working. Just finished listening to my recorded lecture, and I wanted to show you guys quickly how I exactly take notes for that, and then in turn turn that into a study guide. So I do use the app Notability, and I do this for recorded lectures as well as class notes, but I just download the PowerPoint, use my Apple Pencil, and write all over it, and it's not always the neatest. Sometimes the format gets messed up. But I find this the best way for me personally because I can really listen to what the professor is saying and get the most important details down and just kind of be more present in class rather than trying to copy down what's typed already, if that makes sense. And then when it comes time for a test, this study guide I made for my test last week, which I just got my grade back and I did really well on, so that is super exciting and motivating. But I basically take all my iPad notes and then type them here, which it does take a while, but it really helps me learn and then get a sense of what I need to spend my time studying on. So I type it up, print it out. It's usually 30 or 40 pages. So my apartment complex front office hates me because I use all their ink, but I print it out and then I just kind of annotate it like so. And I've been doing this forever, all through high school, all through college, and it's just how I work best. So this is for my musculoskeletal class, and this is how I study for almost all my classes, except this is not how I study for anatomy, and that is the test that I have this Friday. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I study a little bit differently for anatomy, just because there's more pictures and stuff. It's not just like straight words to be studying. So once I get started on that, I'll explain to you guys how my process varies for that. I just finished my assignment. I had to make a little diagram of muscle healing for myself, and now I have to upload it. But then I just have one more thing to watch, and then I can finally get started studying. So it is about 11 o'clock now, and I'm finally done all my homework, which it took me a lot shorter than I was expecting, which never happened. So now it's on to studying for my anatomy exam, which is Friday, so 2 days from now. And first things first, I just wanted to talk about planning out when you're going to study, because honestly that is the most important thing. In PT school I have one, if not two, sometimes three exams every single week. So planning your studying ahead of time is really important, because in college I feel like I never would have that many tests at once, so I always would just kind of focus on the up and coming one. But for example, I had a really hard musculoskeletal test towards the end of last week, so it's tempting to just study for that, but I also knew I had this big anatomy test this week, so it's really important to plan and kind of figure out how you're going to study for multiple things at one time. So that was definitely an adjustment for me, but buy a planner, write dates in it, and just figure out what works for you. I personally like to study on Wednesdays and the weekends, and then I use the weekday and nights to maybe study a little bit, but mostly get homework and assignments done, just because that's what works best for me. Ideally, I like to start studying for exams about a week in advance, but that doesn't always happen, especially when we get towards the middle of semester like we are now. It's a little example of how I split up my studying for this exam. This test is on the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and also randomly the heart and lungs. So I have a little sticky note on my laptop that says, Wednesday, study heart and lungs and review thoracic and cervical, because I've already looked at that material. And then the day before the test, I just like to do a big review of everything. But so this weekend and Monday, Tuesday, I already looked at a bulk of the material, so now it's kind of just studying this last little portion and then reviewing everything tomorrow. I'm going to flip the camera around and kind of show you how I studied the cervical and thoracic information these past few days, and then get started studying the heart and lungs and show you guys how I do that. Like I said earlier, I make study guides for every class except anatomy, and that's just because if you look at our PowerPoints, for example, they're only 15 slides, so it's really not that much, and a lot of it is just like labeling and stuff, and this is something that I can scroll through and comprehend. Unlike, for example, my musculoskeletal lectures, which is just mostly words. Like this, just staring at this doesn't work for me, but for some reason with anatomy, that works great. So I'll have this up, and then I also really like to use my atlas, which I know some people are scared of like atlases and textbooks this big. I just have all these flags here, and I label them cervical spine. And then here we are right here with all these pictures, and my professor puts these same pictures in her PowerPoints, so it just makes it easier to follow along, because sometimes this is just like really busy with notes and I like to look at it just the regular old textbook way. I use this Pomodoro timer app called Focus Keeper, so it'll be 25 minutes and then it'll go off and I'll have a 5-minute break. And basically for the cervical spine, we have general overview, joints, bones, ligaments, biomechanics, and neuro. So I would be like, okay, I'm going to look at joints, bones, and ligaments for these 25 minutes. And I'll just go through, study these slides, and if I feel good about it after the 25 minutes, I will move on to the next slide, and if not, I will just review it again. And so I've already done that for all these cervical lectures and all these thoracic lectures. So overall, I have a pretty good sense of all the material on this test. But now I just have to go ahead and do that for the heart and lungs information, and I'm not really exactly sure why this is on my gross anatomy test. We're in a cardiopulmonary class, and my professor said that teacher asked her to include it in our curriculum for some reason, so it's not going to be the focus of the test. I think she said there's only 7 questions out of the 50 multiple choice, but I definitely still want to look it over, because if I miss all of those, then there goes my good grade on the exam. So I'm going to study that, and then if I have time, maybe review a little bit of the cervical and thoracic, but overall I really am feeling pretty good about it. And once I do that, people in my class are super nice and they always post links to Quizlets and stuff they made. And Quizlet is honestly hit or miss for me. I like to use it when I'm like at this point in my studying where I feel pretty prepared and just want to like kind of quiz myself, but I can't usually learn from Quizlet, if that makes sense. Like I have to already know it and it's just kind of more of a practicing thing. So these tests, like I said, are 50 multiple choice, and then we have muscle quizzes almost every Friday on function, nerve, origin, insertion of muscle cards, and she always will throw in a few free response of those just to make sure we're still reviewing those. So I also go ahead and review these flashcards the week leading up to the exam just to make sure I got everything down. So tomorrow night, definitely a lot of my time will be spent reviewing the muscle cards just because that's like pure memorization and less like conceptual, so I like that to kind of be the last thing that I look at before I take the exam. I did get an A in my Gross Anatomy 1 class. Now I'm in Gross Anatomy 2, but this semester is a lot different because we have 2 bigger exams, whereas last semester we had 5 smaller exams, so it definitely is a lot bigger of a test and on a lot more material, but I spaced it out pretty well, so I'm feeling pretty good overall, but I'm gonna stop talking now and get working, so yeah, talk to you guys soon. So I just finished my first 25 minutes of my timer study session, and I looked at all of the slides and notes over the heart. So now for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to look at the lungs and then kind of reassess, see how I'm feeling, and see if there's anything else I want to spend my time on or look over again. So basically that's what I do after every 25-minute cycle. I decide what I'm going to focus on for the next 25-minute cycle. I think after this cycle, after I look at the lung stuff, I'm going to make some lunch and then study maybe another hour and then potentially go to the gym because taking breaks is really important, and exercising just always makes me feel better and more alert and awake and more motivated. So that seems like something that I'm going to be doing later. Alright guys, so it is quite a good bit of time later, and I ate my yummy chickpea salad for lunch and got a good bit of studying done, so I think I'm going to go to the gym and just do some cardio and light weights to get my blood flowing, and then maybe study reviewing the cervical and thoracic spine for about an hour. So tomorrow I can just do a general quick hour or two review because I don't like to cram the night before a test. I like to get a good night's sleep, and I find that's when I perform the best. But I hope you found this video helpful, seeing kind of more in depth how I study as a Doctorate of Physical Therapy student. And if you enjoyed, please be sure to subscribe down below. I post new videos every single Thursday at 11 a.m. and I would love to have you guys here on my channel. And be sure to check out Verb Energy Bars. Link is in my description box down below. See you guys in my next video next week. Bye friends!